Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your November 2016 love reading. So I'm going to do something a bit different in terms of the type of spread that I use. I found a new one on Pinterest that I'm going to try out and see how it works. Good old Tower card. Oh, this is great though. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. So, now this is the Morgan Greer deck, of course. I'm just like, I want to give credit where it's due. So in the past position, we have this card of innocence and the Page of Cups. So definitely, because the present circumstance, by the way, which is all buried here, is the Tower card. Because of that, I do feel that this particular message is for people who have come out of a, let's say, a mildly put shocking situation, you know, an unexpected situation regarding a relationship. And so the typical example is you find out that your partner is cheating, particularly if, you know, like you catch the person, or you find out, you know, you walk in or on the person, or they just abruptly tell you that they're leaving. You know, those are the kind of things that you didn't expect. And so what that means when you get the Tower card as your present circumstance, that it's something where you thought everything was okay. Because, I mean, it's only logical to say that if somebody tells you they want to leave and you've been fighting for the last 5 years, you can't really be that shocked about it unless you think that they would never follow through. That's the only possible reason why you would be shocked. So it's definitely something that took you by surprise. And the reason, so you know, I'm not going to hold up the Tower card because I think you can get the gist of that. But the reason is because you were very naive about the situation. And yeah, and you know, it's so weird. You know, this is the second reading I've done with this particular spread, but I mean, it's really starting to, you know, yield some great results. Because before I talk about anything more about this particular reading, I just want to say, obviously this is a general reading, and not everyone has had a shock or will have a shock. So, I can't say that every card is going to resonate with you, but this is how you saw yourself in that relationship. And this is like the card of, you see the two people, their hands entwined, they're toasting a happy marriage. So, you know, and it could be also a happy family. So you saw yourself in this position, you were being naive. And you didn't, so that makes me think that that other person may have been duplicitous, you know, may have been dishonest with you about what was happening. And sure enough, the card that represents what you've learned, and this is kind of like interesting, you know, I go from the Page of Cups, which is a very innocent type of an energy, to the Five of Swords, which is about someone who is trying to get one over on another person. And it's like you win the battle but lose the war. You are trying to it's like one-upmanship. You're trying to be the victor, but you're using means that are less than you know, fair or honorable. And so someone may have really kind of done something to betray you, and especially in a verbal kind of way in communication. You know, maybe you saw an email and the person was professing a love for somebody else, saying that they were stuck in the marriage, or, you know, that you really didn't love them. You know, those are the kind of things that sometimes people say when they cheat. Oh, she doesn't understand me, she doesn't really treat me right, or he doesn't. And you were probably a little bit naive, or you saw what you wanted to see. That's another thing that I associate with the Page of Cups. You know, if you notice with this card, there's a fish jumping out. So I think particularly of Pisces. So if you have like the moon or Venus in Pisces, then this would particularly be something that you might have a tendency to do in general, where you rewrite reality to suit your needs. And also if you have like an afflicted Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, I could definitely see that. But in any case, whatever happened, that may have led you to overlook things that you shouldn't have overlooked. Maybe there were red flags right under your nose. And then, you know, before you knew it, you had the Towering Inferno, you know, as your, you know, your love life. And so maybe right now you're kind of recuperating from that type of a shock. The Tower card can relate, I think, to Uranus, which is the unexpected things. I'm not sure if it's Mars or Uranus. It would stand to reason it would be Mars, because that's kind of like a very... But Uranus is about surprises. So in any case, I think that Sagittarians are actually fairly well suited to deal with sudden events, because I'm a proud member of the club, are mutable signs. We're also fire signs, so we're very independent anyway, and we're the type of people that will say, well, screw you. If you don't want to be with me, I don't want to be with you. And we're also, you know, as mutable signs, we're very flexible, so we can kind of roll with the changes a lot easier than some other signs. But this is where it starts to get good, you guys. So if you so far have identified with some of the cards above, you know, it's like saying, but wait, there's more. No, actually there's something even better, because upcoming influence, Ace of Cups, new love. Beautiful, beautiful card, and I love the way that this particular deck depicts it. I mean, the colors, the muted pastel. This is a card of offer of love, and I think that's a lotus, right? If this is a lotus, you know, the lotus always floats above the dirty water but never gets touched by it. And so if you've been dealing with anything that has been very traumatic, you know, you can actually be like that lotus and not be tainted by it, and let it be on the other person. And the only way that you can really do that, if you've been wronged in such a dramatic way, is it's not just as easy to say let it go, because, you know, obviously if especially if something happens out of the blue, it's hard to say let it go and just be done with it, but not to always relive it by constantly, you know, bringing it up to other people. It doesn't mean you have to like stuff it within yourself either, but some people get off on, you know, presenting themselves in this light because maybe in an unconscious way they are looking for sympathy, or they want to feel that other people understand how unfairly they've been treated. And the truth is that, you know, I understand why people would feel this way and maybe want, you know, other people to kind of console them, and that's, you know, definitely normal and natural, but there's a time when it gets excessive, and then it becomes who you are. You're the person that was left at the altar, or whatever, the situation is. And it's really not looking at it from the macro perspective where you're seeing your place in everything. And it's not about blaming the victim, but it's about not needing to be a victim. And it's very hard when you feel like one not to want to be one. Because at the very least, if you're going to get screwed over, at least you can have people, rub your back, right, after it happens. And that's understandable that you'd want that. But it can get to be too much, too often, and then you get defined by it instead of just learning from it. And that's kind of where it develops its own life. And the Ace of Cups is about really, accepting a new beginning when it comes to love, and being able to kind of leave that nightmare or that horrible situation behind. Now, some people, if it's something very fresh, it probably is not something that you would feel comfortable doing right away, and that's understandable. And definitely, if you've had a shock to your system, it does make sense to process all of that. To use a psychobabble term, you do need time to kind of just adjust to your new life, or maybe even live alone before you go into a new situation. But the Ace of Cups means that it's around you, it's surrounding you, it's available to you. And this can be very helpful if you thought that, this person was the end-all be-all. Now this is what's really awesome, because how this person will affect you is conveyed by the Four of Wands, and this is about a happy home. This relates to marriage. The number 4 relates to structure. It's a Wands energy, so that's fire. That's the element that we are. So there's passion associated with it, and there's just joy, domestic bliss, so to speak. And so if you were wondering if someone is coming along, if they are going to be a suitable partner, not only will they be a suitable partner, but you will be able to build something with them. You'll be able to have a home with this person. It's not going to be just an affair. The Ace of Cups, the cups relate to water. So it could be that it's a water sign, I guess. That's always a possibility. So Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But on a larger picture, the Ace of Cups is about a soul-based relationship, not just an affair. And yet you're going to have that passion within the home. A Sagittarian isn't necessarily a homebody. Sometimes they can be, but not necessarily. They like to explore a lot. So this is the kind of person that can make you enjoy being at home and kind of pique your interest and passion, and not just feel like you're, in a prison by being at home. And the outcome is the High Priestess. So as I said, this is a soul-based relationship. So this is going to connect to your higher self. You're going to be able to resonate with this person spiritually. We rule the 9th house of the higher mind, but this also includes philosophy and religious studies, and religious institutions. But it can be, what we call non-denominational or spiritual things, yoga, anything that has to do with seeing your life as not just this random chaotic thing, but this organized thing that's meaningful. And you will have this with this other person. Maybe you will be on the same page spiritually with this person. And also, you'll feel it in your gut that this is the right person for you. It's not going to be where you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm not sure. You're going to know. And this might, who knows, maybe this will be like a soulmate type of situation or a twin flame. I still have to kind of research about twin flames to know exactly what's going on with those, because I've been hearing so much about it. But yeah, I mean, it's like a spiritual outcome to a romantic situation. So I think that you're going to be in a way better place, Sagittarius, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, you can click on the link below. It takes you to my website. Otherwise, have a great November. Bye.